What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new video for this coding. So anyways, first off, I know a lot of things, a lot of people are probably thinking, like, what is programming in general? Like, what could be the possibility of how you can do some coding and stuff like that? So the way I look at it personally, in my point of view, I'm not going to tell you by my teacher's point of view, it's going to be my point of view, the way I look at it personally. Pretty much coding is everything. It's pretty much how YouTube works pretty much. It's all coded behind the scenes. It's kind of like it's almost like if it's a television, if you think about it. Like, you know those big old TV boxes? Well, I guess same thing with the slim ones too, but it's probably a better way of me pointing it out this way. If you look at the side of a TV box, right, it's pretty big, right? I know this is the actual size. This is almost like a flat screen almost. But if you turn it to the side, you realize that there's this big hunker in the back, right? Well, think of that as kind of like coding, because that's pretty much what it is, especially with video games, right? We see, the results. We see what happens. We see what it's supposed to be doing in the game, and that's pretty much what it is that this whole programming thing is like, that's how it makes things work. So, anyways, today we're going to be doing something very, very simple. If you guys want to literally just try this out yourself at the same time, following along and learning some things, then yeah, I recommend doing Visual Studio. That's kind of what I'm working on as well. So if you guys want to go in that route, check it out. I know, like I said, there's other programs that you can use if you want. Even my buddy's using Linux. I know my other buddy's using Python. But for the moment, this is kind of where we're stepping into, I guess you could say. I know for a fact that C# is used on Unity mostly. I think it's also used on Unreal Engine. I could be wrong. But for the moment, we're learning C++ because it's supposed to be, I guess you could say, it's a bit more enhanced than like C#, so that it's kind of like that's why it's called C++, because it's like there's a C, and then C#, and then C++, so it's like to add on, I guess you could say. But yeah, so that's kind of the whole point, is like, this whole concept of programming is just, it's just a thing that makes it work. Like, you tell the computer, I want this to work. It's like, kind of like what I said with a TV, right? When you want to change the channel, you press the remote, and you click on it, you're changing the channel because you want it to go to that. Or I guess like kind of like normal TV nowadays, where it's like you type in like certain numbers, and it's like you want 356 or 495 or whatever the case may be. You type that in, and it goes right to it, right? That's kind of exactly, in this route. Except, here's the thing. Besides just punching in like a few numbers, you gotta put a little bit more effort into it if you want the computer to actually do what you want. That's the sad part, but hey, that's how reality works, unfortunately. But anyways, so let's just jump into it. Today we're going to be talking about a thing called cin and cout. It's very, very simple. I personally loved doing this. So it's probably like you just see. It's like pretty much saying, like, you're telling the computer, hey, I want you to say this, by the way. It's almost like if you're whispering into your friend's ear, kind of like saying, like, hey, dude, ask her out, or something like that. Or, saying, like, hey, say these things right here, or something. Or, like, you see kind of like those shows where they have, like, little microphones in their ear, and the guy's on a date, and then the guy's, like, saying, like, oh, hey, say these words whenever you hear it in your ear. It's kind of like that, but like I said, you're in front of a computer, you don't have a thing to connect with the computer, you can't understand what the computer's saying. The only thing it can tell you is that there's errors, and it can work. That's pretty much literally the logic to this. Yeah, it doesn't speak back, but it can shut you down though for thinking that you're right. That's the one thing that this computer is going to tell you, is that you suck, even if you think you are 100% accurate at what you're doing. So that's pretty much how it works. So anyways, let's look at the computer real quick. So of course, as you can see right here, we have include iOS stream, which the I and the O is for input and output for the stream. So pretty much it's like it's kind of like CNC out, right? It's computer output, it's computer input. So that's pretty much what it is. So if you need to use any of those, I recommend using that particular thing, especially for starting out right now. It's definitely perfect. So of course, I also have another thing called using namespace std. Now, if I do want to do something different here, right? So like, let's say I take this, and like, let's say I want to get rid of it, right? So pretty much using namespace is pretty similar, right? So I gotta just type in std and then do that, and that's the only way this is going to work. Because without it, it's not gonna work at all. Because I can explain a bit more about the whole username or the namespace, I guess you could say. For the moment, but I'm going to just leave that for now. We're only going to be talking about CNC out pretty much. So the whole point is that we're going to make this show us in a way. We're going to debug it, and we're going to tell the computers to say, hey, this is a line I want you to show me, so please show it if you can. So let's see what is going to happen right now. Alright, so as you can see here, it printed out, hey, how's it going, with a bunch of our crap. But yeah, so pretty much that's what it is that you're telling the computer saying, hey, say this, and that's what it's going to do. It's going to print out something. So let's make this a question, actually. So let's put, what is your name, right? We need to ask the user, what's his name? Like, that's kind of the whole point, is that we're curious what his name is, so that's what we're going to ask. And I should probably do this real quick. String, come on. String name, there we go. So pretty much right here, this is just for words. It's just a word, that's all it is. So you're just asking for a word. And pretty much then we just type in name, and there we have it. I'm going to put also this too. I completely forgot to add this. That is my bad when I was setting this up. But I'm going to do this just real quick, just so we can pause it, so you guys can see it a lot better. And then I'm going to, cout. Make it a lot easier on you guys, so that way you can see this. So anyways, we're going to debug this real quick, and then I'll show you exactly what I'm trying to say about this computer output and input. So alright, so as you can see here, it says, what is your name? It's asking me, of course, so I am going to type in Jason. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, and then it says press any key to continue. But bammo, and then you are done. The program is going to finish because you're going to return everything back to 0. So this is your value, by the way. Just throwing this out. So when you make a string, you're making a value of a word. So that's why it becomes a local variable, as it says right here. So anyways, we're going to do one more step, a little bit more than just that. So anyways, we're just going to, I'm going to change the line here. Actually, real quick. Alright, so there we go. That way it's a lot easier. So it's not saying just question mark and then your name. It's that way it's like there. And then I'm going to put a cout on this one. So we're going to say hi. And then make a space, arrows, and then an arrow. And then we're going to put name. And then do that. And then say nice to meet you, right? And then of course you got your little, it's kind of like an end line thing, kind of like what I put here for cout and L. That is pretty much to say end line. I could have put that with the name, but I figured just to give everybody a heads up, we're going to end the line and then make it that way. But yeah, so if you want to do it a little bit easier way, you can just put the /n into your brackets with your sentence, so it makes it a lot easier. And then just, of course, a colon there, and then there we go. Alright, so now we're going to boot this up, and now I'm going to show you exactly what a CNC out works very well. Alright, so as you can see, this actually looks a little bit better than the last way. So as you can see, I put what is your name, then you get the 2 brackets, plus also you have a little bit of space here, as you can see. So the line isn't fully close to it, because if you look over here, look, I got a little space and then that, which makes it look a lot better than having it, like very closely tight. So of course, like I said, I'm going to put my name in one more time. And then I'm going to say, hi, Jason. Nice to meet you. Okay, so I screwed up on that one. That was my fault, actually. Let me just show you again. So what I did accidentally was I meant to do this. Put a space, because the reason behind that is because when I do it again, right, it's going to show you a lot better of a sentence, you know what I mean? So this is probably a lot proper than what I should have had the first time, but either way, like it says, what is your name? Name's Jason. I did put a end line underneath when you put your name in, of course, and then I just put, hey, Jason, nice to meet you. So since I did make an end line, it did go underneath, of course. I guess technically I didn't really need that end line to cut down, but either way, it looks a lot better doing it this way, just to show you guys properly. But you get what I'm trying to go with. So this is pretty much it. So to pretty much conclude the video here, as you can see side by side, so your computer output is what is your name, because that's what you're asking the user, of course, and then of course with the computer input, that is the player, I guess you could say, or the person on the computer has to type in the name, of course. And of course I put an end line here, which we don't have to worry too much. But other than that, when we move on to the results of what we're trying to do with that variable that we told them to put the input in, of course, we made the computer do an output of hi, put the name in, and then of course, nice to meet you. And that's exactly what it does all right here. So if you guys have any more questions about CNC outs, let me know down in the comment section below. Maybe I can do it a little bit at the beginning of the next video for another lesson. But at the same time, literally the best way of learning about CNC out is just fooling around. Personally, that's kind of how I learned how to do some coding. I just was like, okay, it seems like an interesting process of how to make this work, how to show it on the computer, and just make it happen. Like, I put in weird stuff before just for fun, because why? Because it's entertaining, and at the same time, while I'm doing that, I'm learning how to put the process in either way. So if you guys would like to do that on your own time, literally, I recommend it. Like, literally, if it just takes a day. This stuff here right now is more basic than anything else until we get into a little bit more work, I guess you could say, with coding. So I recommend just taking a day if you want, just goof around with that, and then take like a small little break. I recommend just doing that because it's going to be a lot easier on everybody. So yeah, just do what you gotta do. Try it out. Like I said, if you have your own programming and you think it works for C++, use that. But like I say, I recommend Visual Studios. It's free, so you know, I recommend it one way or another. So, but other than that, I would like to see you guys. Well, of course, I'd love to see you guys, but other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. That's what I meant to say. Literally, leave a like, subscribe, of course, to this video. And other than that, I'll see you guys, of course, in the next videos for more coding. Not cording, but coding. I don't know where coding is. I don't know. Probably just what I think I'm thinking about recording and coding at the same time. I don't know. That's what came out of my mouth for some reason. But other than that, hope you guys enjoy watching. Hit that like for more, subscribe if new, and I'll see you, of course, in the next videos. And until then, take care, everybody. Have a great day.